All right, welcome everyone to probably the worst edition of the FTN pod we'll ever have. We did no prep for this. I think some people are a bit toasty. Some people look
That's me
like they
right
just
here.
woke up from a nap. That would be me.
Andrew has
One of us is Irish.
Awesome.
You know,
This is going to be awful.
We are
This is a
doing
train wreck. How you guys doing? Let's start with you, Ryan. What's up? How you're in Buffalo? Tell the people where you're at. I think what's been
Yes,
going
man.
on.
Well,
Ryan, you cut out.
as you can see, my internet connection is terrible.
because he lives in Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly. My internet connection is terrible. Yes, exactly. I am up in upstate New York, which means that it is not New York City. it's let me guess, it's that
It's like he's
bad.
living in Amish country. Like just the look of whatever room you're in, like the old school wood cabinets. Like Ryan's in some cabin in the middle of like fucking
Dude, he's out
northern
in
New
the
York.
boonies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. All right, John, let's go to you. Show us Noelle. I know she's right next to you. Show the league what they want.
He's here. She had a grooming appointment today, and she's just been clinging on to me since. Otherwise, we're all good here.
JD got that Emmanuel Classe money. Grooming his dog.
I am not allowed to comment on active investigations.
Ben, how are you doing? How's Cincinnati?
I'm fantastic, Julian. I just went out to dinner. I had 4 shots and 3 drinks, and then I ate 2 bowls of pasta and 2 desserts and 2 cups of coffee. So I am ready to let it rip tonight.
For the Cincinnati people in here, where'd you go to dinner?
Sodo,
Amazing
which is an
place.
Italian restaurant.
Wow.
It's
Fitting.
very, very good.
Amazing place. Juan Soto's.
I was just about to say he went to Juan Soto's and or Gregory Soto's.
Gregory. I don't have a response to that. Let's get into this.
Let's just move fast.
JD brought it to my attention a couple hours ago. We have 4 weeks left in the regular season.
That's disappointing.
If we were playing before we extended to 22 matchups, because we used to have just 20, we'd only have 2 weeks left. We are at the end of the season. And what I told JD, I said, I don't even feel like I've started evaluating my roster yet. I still feel like it's early. But here we are. It's August 1st.
Mhm.
And I guess that means rosters are about to expand. The trade deadline's passed in both FTN and MLB. JD said you can now view a playoff bracket on the app. So, guys, we're there. We're getting towards the end of the season, whether we like it or not.
Yep.
Ryan, I'll go to you first. Give me general reaction to how's this season gone for you, man? Tell me about this season.
Well, before I go with that, I feel like it would be good of me to let everybody know this is a live update. Camilo Duvall just gave up 3 runs in a 10th of an inning to blow the save for the Yankees.
Jake Bird, David Bednar, and
Yes.
Camila Duvall just having a disaster trio of a debut.
I'm done with this pod. I'm literally just logging off.
I was gonna say, Drew, we're derailing Drew, so
Okay,
let's get back on track.
We'll get back on track there. My season, I am in a fight for my life here. Again, being in the invertebrates division is a tough go. You got 3 teams that love to, intersperse with one another, trade with one another, have players on their rosters that they'll see again in an opponent's uniform. But one of the biggest things for me, too, is just the resilience of all 3. And still being, even though none of us are above 500, we are, legitimately right there being competitive and making a big deal out of, matchups against the biggest opponents there. So I've been... Even though my past trades have been much maligned, we can say the Aaron Judge trade mainly as the one that will live in infamy. I do think consistently my team still finds ways to find value and consistently be a threat to anybody on a weekly basis. So I'm quite happy with it.
Yes or no? Are you going to make the play? One word. Yes or no? Are you going to be in the playoffs this year?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Ben, why is Ryan not going to be in the playoffs? Who's going to be there instead?
Because you half-assed the trade deadline. You were like Graydon. You were somewhere in between buy and sell. Commit or don't commit. You got a farm system to plunder. Be like the Padres. You're going to go for it. You want to try and win. Fucking obliterate the farm system and get players now. You didn't do it. You went half-ass. Never half-ass something. Whole-ass one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my advice. I'm trying to figure out my MLB TV logged out, so I can't watch the A's.
Mm-hmm.
JD, who is this league's AJ Preller?
That's a good question. My first thought was Jacob, but I think he kind of acquired prospects during this past deadline
Mm-hmm.
instead of selling them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's got to be Sean.
To me, I was going to say it's either Jack or Sean. Those two guys have always been willing to sell their prospects for players now.
Sean makes sense.
But Jack's won. AJ Preller hasn't won, and Sean hasn't won. So I think Sean might be the closest thing we have in this league to AJ Preller. Jack's kind of like the Dodgers. Sean's the Padre. It actually kind of makes sense, and I guess that makes me the Rockies, but whatever.
No, Drew, you're just the Cardinals. Don't worry. It's just bad luck. You'll get them next year.
You're making fun of me, aren't you?
Yes.
Maybe if Brendan Donovan is his core piece of his team, if only he can achieve that.
Real quick, what Ryan said. Competitive Division 3, nobody over 500. Have you heard that before?
Wasn't everyone over 500 last year in that division?
That's a good question. Let me go back and go to the league history from last year.
I was mainly making a New York division reference.
I know you were, JD. I wasn't gonna take the bait.
So, will any team finish over 500, JD, in Division 3 this year?
Yes. I believe at least one team in that division finishes above 500. My money would go on Jacob.
Can I just say one thing to jump back on the conversation we were having real quick? Ryan still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 top 100 prospects on his farm system. Yet you're not going to sell any of them to go for the dub. Jacob, I don't think is that strong. I mean, listen, I respect Jacob as a manager. I think he's got a very good team. But if you're in that position where you're only a few games out, you go for it. You sell the farm, you try and win.
I think the farm needs to be a little bit more juiced up before I do start selling prospects. Also, that's a little bit of a misleading top 10 because considering my top 10 or 15 prospects all in the top 100 usually drop like the Hindenburg out of the sky.
Ethan Salas isn't even going to be a top 100 given a year from now.
Somehow he is still in the top 20, and I think that's just a lie. I think that's just a lie. So, Ethan Salas being up there, I do have a few other good ones, but legitimately, Ethan Salas is now alone in the room, I guess, with the Padres organization. And continuing on, I'm just looking at it going, yeah, there's value here, but what Bean is trying to say is, hey, trade me Aiden Miller. Hey, trade me all these top guys. I'll give you...
I'm shocked you didn't go trade Kobe Mayo. You telling me nobody offered anything for Kobe Mayo?
Who's buying Kobe Mayo?
Pardon?
Who's buying Kobe Mayo?
That's exactly the problem. Is that nobody?
I would have given you what would be your asking on? I know we're way past the deadline at this point, and it's a moot point. But what would you have asked on Kobe Mayo? Would you have taken 2 or 3 BAM?
No.
You laugh at me, but at the same time, you're saying nobody's asking to buy him. So why is that funny?
Because nobody's asking to buy him at a price that would warrant a purchase. Again, being
okay, you stick with your shitty roster, Ryan. It's okay. Descend further into mediocrity.
And coming from you, Ben, are you kidding?
Listen, I'm on the up and up. I've had a much better second half of the season. JD knows it too.
You wish
He's
you
sitting
were
over there smirking.
This needs to be around the horn. I need to mute buttons.
This is very around the horn.
Okay, let's go over to you, Ben. Give me a 30-second synopsis. What's this season been to you? Give your
brutality. And the initial first half of the season, just absolute brutality for me. Just having the worst possible outcomes I could have asked for, not getting the success I needed from any of my players. Turned it around in the second half. I've won, I I think 4 of 5 now in the past 5 weeks. Been on the up and up. Um, you know, overall great. Division 3, continues to be the division of mediocrity. We all fully expected that. No one wants to go ahead and step up and take that crown. That's okay. Sean, I didn't think Sean was going to be this far ahead of Jack and Drew, but he is. So extremely impressive by Sean. And we knew no one was going to challenge Adam. So it's kind of been what I thought it would be. I thought that maybe one guy in Division 3 was going to take that step forward and take that next leap to become, an Adam, a Sean, a JD, somebody who's clearly in the first position, but hasn't happened. So
I think
that's
it's
all I can say.
To answer your question in regards to the Division 3 thing. I think it's a lot of all of us are trying different things and trying to improve both externally and in division trades. That's a popular thing within Division 3. But at the end of the day, like it's been hit or miss. And the thing with Division 3 right now that is consistently getting us is that we have superstars in Division 3. The problem is that are they consistent superstars? Like they'll have like incredible weeks, incredible 2 weeks.
Graydon would say PCA is a consistent superstar.
Okay, so PCA for the first bit, it's been quiet for the last month or so about PCA. That's kind of quieted down a bit. But I'm talking about the cruises, whether that be O'Neill or Ellie. I'm talking about the Wyatt Langford. I'm talking about Jackson Churio. By the way, him missing a month coming up is crucial for Graydon. That's a bad loss. And the fact is that he also traded a lot in that trade too for Jackson Churio, such as Matt McLean, who I know there's going to be some laughters from the Reds fans here, but that is somebody who can fill a shortstop or second base role right now. And considering that the rest of the trade is Kevin McGonigal, which is a future asset, there's not a lot. Like Graydon bought correctly, I think, but also he's got an uphill battle because a lot of those pieces just haven't worked immediately. They will work eventually. He'll be great eventually, but this season's been a tough one for him.
He's had a really rough stretch. I think he's lost like 5 straight matchups.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, the Jackson Trio trade was with you, Ryan. So obviously him being out this last month or so, it's really tough because you still have the piece from that trade.
Yep.
It's just unfortunate that Graydon is going to somehow miss the playoffs with this PCA year.
This is a man who's starting Willie Castro, Noel V. Marte, Victor Scott II, and we're surprised that he's not having success.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, are we shocked by this?
It's
like this is not a roster that inspires confidence. He's got pieces.
I think
saying everyone's got pieces. But if I'm looking at his roster versus Jacob's roster, at least offensively, it's a no question whose I'm going with. There's clearly one better.
Graydon's massive issue is what my issue was last year. It seems like every single week, his bullpen just commits acts of terrorism.
And you know what? I offered to bolster Graydon's bullpen at the trade deadline, and he wasn't willing to pay the price. And I understand that he's not willing to pay the price, but I had that depth to give to him, but he wouldn't budge. I think that could make a difference on his team, but we're past that at this point. I think we need to focus more on the fact that Jacob is going to run away with this division. And I think we're not giving him enough credit.
I don't know about run away.
I don't think run away. In fact, I think that there's going to be... So we looked... I think it was, Drew, you posted the Division 3 schedules moving forward. There's still a bunch of interdivision matchups coming on. For example, myself, after this week, I'll have Vinny. So that one I do have to run away with. I do have to beat Vinny real bad because I get JD the following week. So JD, that'll be, my hope is to even out the good and the bad from the Vinny JD matchup. Then I have Jacob, and then I have Graydon. To give you a sense of Jacob's schedule, we'll go to him next. So he is Prospect Graveyard. He's got, in the next 4 weeks after his matchup with Perry this week, which he's currently winning 5-3-2, he's got Ben, you're up next, so do us proud. Then he has Graydon, then he has myself, and then he has Vinny. So he is the favorite to win the division. I do think, Ben, you are, as you mentioned before, you have won 4 straight coming into this, so I hope beyond hope that you continue to pull that off for me there. But
I got a tough week this week.
Yep. And then in terms of Graydon, in terms of that, he also has myself and Jacob on the schedule. He's got Goober next week, which is a really tough matchup. Yep, there you go. He's got Jacob next. He's got Bean, and then he's got myself. So to give you a sense, to update the standings as well on that, Graydon is now 4 games behind, not 5.
Now, I do want to add in all of this. Vinny right now is a free victory for effectively anyone.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't care what any power rankings say. Vinny is clear and away the worst team in the league right now.
Well, give it a few days, and we might see Drew down at the 12 slot.
Listen. I understand my team's not very good right now. I'm not going to sit here and deny it. I'm not going to claim otherwise. But if you're going to lose 9-1 to me, what does that mean about your team? It means they're pretty fucking bad. And that's Vinny's team right now. So thankfully, you and Jacob both get to play him at least once. Mm-hmm. Graydon's on the outside looking in where he doesn't get that free victory.
Yeah, his schedule coming up is the 2 divisional matchups. He's got Goober, which is probably the toughest matchup right now, unless all of Goober's players decide to either get injured or gamble. And then you have, of course, you Bean, who has been kind of on fuego recently. I'll give you that for free. So again, the common matchups, I think Jacob has, let's be frank, a much easier schedule than Graydon, the 2 common ones being Vinny and Goober, and then Jacob and me. I have a tougher schedule as well. So yes, Jacob, let's say Graydon's 4 games back for reference. So Graydon is going to have an uphill battle.
Will it come down to week 22?
Yeah. Yeah, it really depends on the gap that Jacob has, or if Jacob has a gap. I think what's more likely to happen is we're going to figure it out by week 21. And my prediction is that Jacob will win the division. However, the second playoff spot will come out of this division as well.
100%. Yeah. It's not going to be Vinny or I. It's going to be one of you guys.
Yeah, let's go over the next few weeks then. Jacob's currently up 5-3-2 on Perry. I'm currently 4-6-0 against Sean, and Graydon currently is, let me pull that up real quick, 7-3-0 against Max. So take all that into consideration. Graydon would gain a game on Jacob, so he'd be 3 games back.
Listen, Graydon's out of it at this point. Graydon has made it known that he doesn't like the current composition of his roster, at least not to a playoff championship level.
He's waiting for the year to end already.
Yeah, he's done. He just wants to finish out the year solid, not be an embarrassment. Mm-hmm. Graydon, it's between you and Jacob, Brian, and I don't think you made enough moves to overcome Jacob. That's it. Period.
Yeah, Ryan's going to comfortably beat Sean, who was the biggest hurdle.
I beat Sean.
Well, he has JD as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Jacob's schedule's just so nice.
My team is injured. I'm just kind of coasting.
Oh, okay, shut up, JD.
It is, though. I this whole week against you, Bean, I basically have not had a full lineup.
So what's going to be sad about this whole thing is how I finished out the year so far, which has been good. 4-6-0 against Sean right now. That can change. I don't see that changing any worse for me than 4-6-0. I think that's the limit there in terms of how things are going, but it could get better. I think that's to be said. But previously, it was, since my loss to you, Bean, in which we all thought that was the end of the world, that was actually the beginning of Bean dominance. Since then, 6-4-0 against Max, 4-4-2 against Jacob, 6-3-1 against JD. JD, I did beat you that one time, 6-3-1, which was a real shocker. 6-3-1 against Graydon, a 4-4-2 draw against Jack, and then beating Jacob last week 5-4-1. So I'm unbeaten in 6 matchups so far.
But can we all agree that Division 3 is really the only question mark in the league? Because Adam's going to win Division 1. Sean's going to win Division 2. Mm-hmm. It's going to be Jack that takes the wild card for the first conference. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's going to be JD in Division 4, and it's going to be one of you 3 guys taking both Division 3 and the Conference 2 wild card. Like we've got a pretty clear outline of at this point of who's going to be in and who's out.
And I agree with you there. I think whoever the two are that get into the championship, the way that we play, that way the Division 3 plays is very scrappy. Like, I'm going through a lot of the games right now, and even Jacob, you saw during my schedule how I was having a lot of 5-4-1, 4-4-2, 6-4-0, 6-3-1, like all of that. Jacob is even more of that. So
yeah, I posted about this earlier this week. Other than a 9-0-1 against Ben, he's been 6-4 or 4-6 or closer than that in like 12 straight weeks. He plays extremely. He just has a very consistent team. Never gets blown out, and he can take advantage sometimes of favorable matchups.
So I think in the setup that we have is that JD should be worried. I do think JD should be worried whoever he gets.
I think Division 3
That's a good joke, Ryan.
I think Division 3 makes it to the championship game. I've been saying this for several weeks now, and Drew can testify to that.
The last games against JD, I already mentioned I beat JD 6-3-1 in the last matchup. In Jacob's last matchup with JD, he beat JD 5-4-1. So we're looking.
You or Jacob are making the championship game this year.
I think JD has to be thinking long term in terms of his next 4 weeks. There's not much for you to play for.
JD's not even going to be here next year. What are you talking about? He's thinking long term. He's already thinking about his retirement.
Long term, as in 4 weeks from now. So he should be making moves that 4 weeks from now will.
I mean, I just lost Acuna, just lost Arenado. Jordan's still out. Nola and King, who knows when they'll be back. I mean, I don't know. Losing Acuna at this time just kind of sucks.
It's not good.
No.
Okay.
Doesn't help.
So changing gears here for a second. According to Jacob's model, there are 4 teams with less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs. Those 4 teams, in order, are Max with a 0.5% chance, Perry with a 0.06, and then Vinny and Ben with a 0% chance.
I contest that because it's not 0%.
Okay, well, it's close enough that it rounds to 0 within 2 decimal points. So, of those 4 teams I just mentioned, Max, Perry, Vinny, Ben, ironically, they only come from 2 divisions each. I want to start with JD, and I want to hear which of those 4 teams has had the most successful 2025 in terms of building something for 2026. In other words, which of those 4 teams has the best chance to turn it around and make the playoffs in 2026?
Ben.
Oh, you need to
you're going to say JD.
Ben.
I love you, man.
Can't do a one-word answer. So
big acquisition of Juan Soto. I mean, when you can acquire, I'm going to use this word, generational talent, I mean, you do it. So kudos to Ben for it. He's going to get more BAM coming up. And his top prospect is now on his favorite team, which bodes well for the future. Not next year, but for the future.
Yes, for the future.
Yeah, just basically the Juan Soto edition. Also, Ben being unfathomably unlucky this year. When he has regression to the mean, he's not going to be unfathomably unlucky. He might get a little bit lucky.
How do you and Adam finish at the top of the luck rankings every year?
I don't know. I have no clue. But Jack will always harp that he has a better expected record than I do. So.
Ben, I'll go to you. What do you think of those 4 teams that I mentioned? Max, Perry, yourself, and Vinny.
Myself.
Who had the best 2025? You did.
Myself. I think I was truly a rock bottom awful to start the season. I mean, it was, you tell people, oh, Ben texted me crying. He was in tears. It was the end of the world. I was depressive about it. I was fairly upset. I was like, this is not the team that I built. I had such high hopes coming into this year and just fell completely flat on my face. But I truly feel that in the past few weeks, This has been the team that I wanted all year long. I've been better. I've been winning games. I've been making competitive against very good teams. This is kind of what I've been aiming for, and I hope to have, the acquisition of Juan Soto, hope to continue to have success and push it into next year. So we'll see. But myself is the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan,
I also tend to lean Ben, but I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one too, because I think Ben is either number 1 or 2 in this case. I'm going to make a shout to Perry as well. I'm going to put Perry on a pedestal here for a second, because I'm looking at his team for next year, and there is some real excitement that I have with his team, especially in the starting rotation. Having Max Fried be there is a huge boon. That's a good ace to always lean on. And then some injury / developmental stuff that is coming on with players such as Hunter Green. I love Hunter Green this year. He's been incredible, I think, but he's on the IL. That's somebody that hasn't been able to perform fully. I'm also a big Edward Cabrera fan. I know he's had a up and down year, but I do think that ceiling hasn't been attained yet. I think he can really explode next year. And there are some players that are, I think, underperforming a little bit on the starting pitching side that I think will come back around. He's also been without Jared Jones for this season. That's just a wash. Like, come 2026, I think if you have a healthy Jared Jones, that is a rotation that I honestly would think is a very good one to have. His relief pitching is also great too. Like Pete Fairbanks is a good one to have right now. He also has a Yankees relief pitcher in David Bednar. Whether that means that he's a terrorist now is up for debate. But there's stuff to like in that, and also like his outfield might not be the best outfield, but I do kind of rank a few players in there. He is still carrying Anthony Volpe. That is an anchor that I may not be able to oversee. But also, Paredes is injured. Like, he's got injuries all over the place. He still has Jeremy Pena, who I think is incredible, but day-to-day. And then he has a few interesting pieces in Neto and Lowe and a couple others too. He needs three things to happen. He needs Vientos to actually be good. That is number one.
Good luck.
That I know you say good luck, and he needs Vientos to be good. Number one. Or number two, Jordan Walker needs to have the last month that he's had, and he has to copy and paste that for 2026. Like, that is, without a doubt, the biggest thing that he needs. And number three, he needs to kind of cut the fat a bit. I'm looking at some of his, offensive pieces, and he has a bunch of offense, but some of them I don't think belong long term. Like, he's still rostering Tairo Estrada. I'm not sure if that's the play. He's still rostering a bunch of different pieces that just don't need to be there, as Drew would say, droppable. So I think if he
is... The guys that you mentioned are the fat. I'm sorry. Jordan Walker's got 3 home runs. He is the fat. He's awful. Mark Vientos is the fat. He should not be going into next year.
He shouldn't be rostered by anybody.
The problem that I look at the fat and say, is the fat potential or is the fat fat?
No, the fat's fat.
The fat's fat.
Jordan Walker, over the last month since the All-Star break, has been one of the hottest hitters on the Cardinals. Again, may not be saying much, but...
He has a .238 average. He has 0 home runs in his last 7 days. What are you talking about, hottest hitter? He has 2 RBIs. He has 2 more RBIs than I do, and I don't play Major League Baseball. Congratulations.
He hasn't hit... Since the All-Star break. He's only gone hitless in 3 of, 20-some-odd games here?
How many RBIs does he have since the All-Star break, Ryan?
That's more on...
He hits at the bottom of the order.
Okay, how many runs does he have? What's his average?
And also the Cardinals as currently constructed do not score runs. I don't know if you watch them or not. They're pretty pathetic in terms of...
If he doesn't score runs, if he doesn't score RBIs, if he doesn't hit home runs, what fucking value does he have in our fantasy league?
This is Kellenic all over again. He's fat. He should be cut.
But that's the question. Is he Kellenic, or can he develop something? If he's Kellenic, then I tend to agree with Drew. But I think
he's Kellenic.
With Walker and especially with Vientos, I think if you get success stories with those two or some form of turnaround, I think there's some optimism to be had.
I thought you were going to play devil's advocate with Vinny because of the sheer number of prospects he has.
No. Okay, so for the future, for like years in advance, yes.
Well, next year and in the future, both.
Next year, I think a lot of his prospects still need some seasoning, even though they might be good. I don't think they make an immediate.
No one has successfully rebuilt a team yet to a playoff berth from doing it. So I wouldn't have this expectation that Vinny, with his farm system now, is going to suddenly in a year or two turn around and be a playoff team. If anything, it's going to be like I'm at, where it's going to be a 6-7 year journey before you get there.
Volpe, Jordan Walker, Mark.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game. Let's start with you, Ryan. Pick 2 for Perry to cut the fat of, and 1 to move into next year with. From this,
can I trade all of them?
I think Jordan Walker would have to be the one cut, or at least one of the 2 cut. And then for me, again, we have the conversation about is Vientos can be that power bat. He does have the potential. Volpe, we've seen years and years and years of stuff. And yes, he's gotten really hot recently with the bat in terms of home runs, just home runs. The rest of it, not so much. So does that continue on? I don't think the trend really fits well. I would probably cut Volpe and Walker and keep Vientos and hope that Vientos does, eventually develop into the player that we know he potentially can.
JD, pick 2 to cut.
Cutting Walker and Vientos and keeping Volpe.
Ben,
firing them all into the sun.
Yeah, I would do that if that was an option.
Correct. Yes.
I think I'm keeping Volpe. I'm cutting Walker and Vientos.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Volpe, just from the fact that he's a Yankee and like he's on a team that's going to have production, but at the end of the day, they all suck and none of them should be rostered.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Volpe 3 home runs in his last 4 games. Turn it on.
I know the contenders have already tuned out at this point in the pod, but let's give them some love. Let's talk about the teams that are for sure going to be in the playoffs, almost certainly. So there are 4 of them. Let's talk about Adam, Jack, Sean, and JD. Who's the favorite this year? I'll open it up to anyone. Start talking over each other.
I don't know if I have a favorite. I would say that to me, JD and Adam are tier 1. Sean's tier 1.5. Sean is better than that next second set, but I don't know if he has the history of success that Adam and JD to me have. Like I expect it from those organizations. So if you were to ask me to differentiate between Adam and JD, I couldn't. They have 2 different roster constructions, do things totally different. I think both have an equal chance of success. I think Sean is definitely the wild card in that trio. If he can get hot, if his offense can really turn it on for, a 2-3 week period, I think he could walk away with it all. But just from the history aspect, I think Sean's in that 1.5 tier. He's not low enough, but he's not high enough yet.
I think Adam and I are actually trending down. Jack is the one team trending up.
Shocker, JD. Shocker.
I mean, if we're gonna talk Adam's team here. I mean, losing Tanner Scott, who might come back, but it's elbow.
Is that really going to make the difference for him this season?
But it's elbow inflammation.
Lost Tanner Scott.
So, he also lost Clase.
Yeah, that's a term for it. Lost. I don't think anybody lost him. I think he gambled. He pulled a Pete Rose.
His relievers kind of took a hit there.
Yes, they did.
Me, I lost Acuna and Arenado, who isn't good, but still, I have an incomplete lineup. I'm dealing with injuries still. And Jack's entering this final stretch kind of healthy. We're assuming Judge is coming back soon. And if that's the case, it's fine.
And Jack is definitely a tier 2 team. He's like right after you, Adam, Sean. Jack is right there in tier 2.
it feels like he's had a really slow start, but he's picked it up as of late when it's been.
And you know what? He, along with me, is the other unfathomably unlucky team.
Yeah.
He should really have a much better record than he does. So, Jackson, that second tier, just from the aspect of he's been unlucky, but he still definitely has the talent to make a run and really press people.
He did it
Raleigh,
last year.
Jose Ramirez, Aaron Judge. That's just the stack he needs.
He did it last year too, where he started slow the first 5-6 weeks of the season. This year it extended even more, like 10, 11 weeks of the season, maybe 9, 10 weeks. I don't know. I guess he's a good manager. He finds a way to get into a stride by the end of the year. And
What is this? You guess he's a good manager?
So,
he is a great manager.
I'm gonna step in here and say that we're all like with the question. There's one really easy answer. JD, quick question for you: who has the number one first baseman in FTN?
Jack.
No, that would be you, JD. That would be Vlad Guerrero Jr. Who has the number one outfielder in baseball?
Got to be Jack with Judge.
Nope, that's JD. That's James Wood. JD, who has the number two shortstop in baseball?
Probably me.
JD, you're correct. Bobby Witt Jr.
It's actually criminal that Bobby Witt's the second best. But anyway,
who is the number two catcher? That would also be you, JD, with Will Smith. And Acuna's only on the 10-day IL, so could come back in mid-August. Oh, by the way, you know what, JD? You also have one other person coming back at the beginning of this month. His name is Yordan Alvarez. So your team might be injured.
And let's not forget number 6 ranked third baseman Junior Caminero.
Exactly. Home run. No,
JD is. I'm with you, Ryan. JD is 100% a tier 1 contender.
Yeah, but
ready to win the championship.
I think he's ready to win the championship because as I reflect with where Goober is right now, losing Class A is huge. There is no replacing a Class A. There really isn't. Like in his case, that is really a killer. That's almost like taking, who is this? Adrian Marrejon, the number 2 relief pitcher. That's like taking him off of JD's roster. But JD still has that. He also has Garrett Crochet, who's still throwing like Jesus. So I think with JD, there is injuries, of course. He'll get through a few of them. There's going to be a few that he will get through. Nola is supposed to return here. His estimated return date is the 11th of August. He's making reliefs. He's making starts right now. Michael King is coming back. Joe Musgrove is out for the season, so he won't have that. And Gavin Stone is also out for the season.
So does Adam drop Class A before the end of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he will?
Because I think Class A is going to enter. Like, if I had to guess where things are going with that, I think I would guess that he's about to be permabanned from MLB.
I mean, yeah, that's the risk. Does he get permabanned, or is there a chance he comes back like next year?
No.
In which case, can you?
No, I think that with where things are with that, I think from what I read before I left my position, 0% chance that he's back next year. I think that's going to be I think with the way that the betting happened or was alleged, if they find out that is true, that is a ban from baseball situation, unfortunately. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, I think Adam drops him. So. I think he does it within the week, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to make some tough decisions, especially with that coming up. So I do think Drew, it's either going to be by the end of this week or the end of next when he has to start preparing in terms of playoffs. And if he continues to, let me see. Do you have his schedule pulled up real quick? Because maybe that.
I don't.
Okay, so his schedule coming up, as I bring it up, he is Jack somewhere, correct?
Yeah.
Graydon, Max, Perry, Drew.
I mean, doesn't need any help for those.
That's a doable schedule for the remainder of. He might run into some headwinds with Graydon because it's a weird Division 3 being a weird division.
I need to say something about Graydon's team for a second.
Yeah.
Because Graydon, for the first 5-6 weeks, Mackenzie Gore was the greatest human being alive.
Yep.
and he has been dog shit.
He's been
recently.
Well, maybe that's
really,
why
really bad. So I just want to make sure people are aware of that fact. That's all. Just want to clear that up.
Yep. There's a possible reason he wasn't moved at the deadline.
Yeah.
Yep. And also that kind of goes over what I said earlier. The problem with Graydon isn't really that he has bad players. It's that he has good players, or even the occasional, hey, at their peak, they can be like some of the best players in baseball. But the consistency of their peaks he has incredibly streaky players when it comes to that. Like currently, his best hitter right now is still PCA, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, 14 runs in the last 30 games. And then past that, like Ellie only has 1 home run in the last. Like Ellie, for some reason, has become an OBP god, which he, has struggled with in recent.
Gray and I were talking about that earlier tonight. He's cut his strikeout rate, and when you have his level, his type of contact, and you have his speed, you can run a 370 BABIP sustainably. Yeah. So as long as you cut that strikeout rate,
Yeah, but if he cuts that strikeout rate, means he's swinging less and he's making less hard contact, and he hasn't hit a home run, and he obviously hit one last night, but it had been 24 games. That's not sustainable for a guy who's supposed to be the star in Great American. You need to hit home runs.
Is he still young. Like 23?
He's young.
He's still young.
Yeah, he's very young.
But in the process of this year, if he's really changed stuff up to really try to be more at contact and then kill you on the bases, like that works to an extent for what Graydon's looking for. But we already know that he's going to steal bases. That was already a given.
Yeah.
And all right, I don't know how we got back on the topic of dog shit teams. Does FTN? Let's talk about the stakes for 2025. JD, Adam, Jack, all sitting on 2 championships. Adam could become the first one to three-peat, and any of them could become the first one to 3 championships. Ben, does FTN need a new champion now more than ever to not come from the ranks?
No, I really don't think so. I think everyone's just as invested regardless of who wins this season. I think going forward, everyone every year has the hope that, this is finally going to be the year that their team puts together and the previous champions kind of fall apart a little bit. I mean, we're going to have JD's team who's open, and I don't know who's going to take that team. So, there's already one position right there that could be open. Listen, Drew, you can shake your head all you want. JD has said it enough that I don't expect him to be back. I wish he was, but I don't expect it.
I can't wait to welcome Don Juong into the
league. But at the same, like you said, Division 3 is wide open. With JD gone, Division 4 could be more wide open than it currently is. I mean, Adam has a stranglehold over his division, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Mm-hmm. If Jack wouldn't have been so unlucky this year, then I think you wouldn't see such a stranglehold that Sean has on his division. So I really think there's quite a bit of parity in the league, and I think it's just based on the fact of, we do this on a week-to-week, this isn't a roto league, to where you see these wildly different scores, but it doesn't mean these teams are wildly different in terms of capability of what they can do on a given week.
Are you rooting for Sean though, or another non-Big 3 team? Is the league rooting for Sean though?
No, I'm not rooting for Sean. I can't speak for anyone else.
I'm not rooting for Sean, but I think if Sean was to win the league this year, I think that would create a lot of waves going forward. I think that would start to begin a little bit of a transition from the Jack dominance of that division.
Well, the Jack dominance is gone. I mean, I'm not saying Jack's not a good team, but the Jack dominance is gone on the same level he had with Adam and JD.
Every year for the last 3 years.
He's got to be right at some point.
Yeah. I think, and there's your problem is it a Jack begins the rebuild? Drew is currently, in a position where he'll be unlucky every year. So whether he rebuilds or not, doesn't matter. Drew's always.
Listen, I don't know what Drew is doing. Jack is too smart to rebuild. Jack is going to piece it together piece by piece until he has another, complete roster to compete. This is not going to be something Jack tears down. I really don't I don't look at him as someone who's going to do that.
So is he going to scrap the waiver wire to stay relevant then, or how is he going to?
I don't think he's going to stay relevant. I think he's going to lose this year, and he's just going to suck it up and say, I lost. Regroup for next year.
Uh-oh, idiot. You just got cursed. That's what Drew has looking forward to the next few years.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about my team at all in this pod. Do I have hope next year, or am I cooked already?
Drew, you know what? We're not going to get into it on this podcast because I know enough people have shat on you, throughout the year, and you don't like hearing it because you have a completely different take. Your dynamic team that you have built over there.
What's the worst part of my team? The starting pitching, the relief pitching, or the offense?
The manager.
It's like, Drew, but the problem is half your guys are really good and half your guys are just beyond dog shit. Like
terrorists.
Yeah, you have no in between. Like all of the three of us and everyone else in the league, we have guys who are, they're not good, but they're rosterable players. Instead of you having rosterable players, you just have dog shit. And that's your problem.
My team's home stadium, we play our home games in Cambodia because there's landmines everywhere on the roster.
You're rostering a sub 300 OBP Colton Cowser. Like, I get it. He's your guy and you got to roster him, but he's
runner-up AL Rookie of the Year, baby.
So he's doing more harm to you than good.
I wouldn't even consider OBP as weak spot because he's fifth in the league for that. He's actually not too bad. However, Drew, I will say when your ERA is over a 4 for the season, which means you're 10th, when your WHIP is 1.273, which is good for 11th, and when your save holds are 83 on the year, which is good for 11th, that kind of tells me that you're kind of working with some terrorists on the back end there.
The bullpen's been awful. The ERA and WHIP, the ERA and WHIP were like at the best in the league through the first 6 weeks of the season. Yeah. And then it all fell apart. And then I traded for reinforcements. And who the heck knows? Like,
you continue to roster Hayden Birdsong. Why? Explain it, please.
He's not doing any damage.
What do you mean? He had an infinite ERA and WHIP. How is he not doing damage?
No, he was. He can't hurt me now. He's in the minors. No, we don't need to talk about my team. My team is shit. It sounds like no one thinks I have hope next year. They all think I'm a horrible manager.
Here's the thing. I think you actually do have hope. I think you have more hope than you.
Oh, stop it, Ryan. Come on, we're moving on. We've already determined.
Yeah, we're moving on. We're moving on. Guys, let's talk about the elephant in the room. My favorite topic, Ben, it's one of your favorite topics. We've talked about it for 6 years now. Did Max fuck up by not trading Jose Altuve for the 6th straight year at the deadline?
Hold on. I want to say this, and I want to say it publicly, and Max is not even going to hear it because he won't even listen to this. But the amount of times that I reached out to Max during the trade window to get a deal done, to try to turn something, and I always got the same response: sorry, I had a lot of shit going on. That's fine, but you're not available to make trades. You're gonna be where you're at. Nothing's ever gonna change. So I think people tried to, and I had another owner who texted me and said it's impossible to get anything done with Max because he doesn't respond.
He was the most active team at the deadline 2 years ago. Very interesting trades. JD and I reviewed these the other day. He had a very interesting Zach Wheeler trade that actually netted him back Andy Pajes in the return. And Andy Pajes looks like an important member of his team going forward. One of the few trade a good piece for prospects trade that may actually kind of work out. It's just funny because once again, Altuve could have gone to any contender and given Max something good, and we've been screaming about it for years, and he didn't do it. We just haven't really talked about Max's team on this pod, and
you know what? We've always said, Max is always right. No, this is the collapse of Max. He's sub 500. He's struggling to say, even in second place in the division previously, that he was always a lock for second. I mean, he is one game away from being the worst record in Conference 1. This is the fall of Max's team.
You could argue he had 2 top 5 prospects going into the year, and they are arguably the two most disappointing prospects in the league. Dylan Cruz and Roki.
Yeah.
So, since January, Max has made one trade. Jonathan India for Alec Boehm. And then he's also spent 107 BAM on 10 prospects. That is Max's moves this year.
Got a lot of prospects.
I just feel like there could have been some really high-priced pieces that Max could have moved to improve his farm system. Like, I know people don't want to hear it, but he could have sold Pete Alonso for a fucking king's ransom at this deadline.
Yeah, but first base is hard. You just
I get that.
Altuve was the guy.
Altuve is the guy.
You've been saying that for 6 years, though.
When's he gonna do it?
Mm-hmm.
Altuve
is the guy, and it's not like he's gonna be like having problems with a backup or the replacement for him. Because Bryce Terang has had a really good year so far. Bryce Terang has been a very adequate second baseman. He's third.
Someone said he should have traded Xander Bogaerts.
When your rotation consists of Luis Severino, Clayton Kershaw, and Matthew Liberatore, how successful can you really hope to be?
No, he had pitching injuries entering the year. Roki didn't work out. He should have traded Altuve, arguably, for pitching. But we talked about it at the beginning of the year. Max talked about it, I think, on the pod at the beginning of the year. He was like, I have 6 second basemen. Altuve's one of them. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I get heated about this topic.
I'm with you, man. It's just you look at it, and I offered a few trades to Max and got 0 in response. So I would encourage him to at least check his texts once a week. Come next
2024 Nolan Jones is 2025 Brent Doyle.
The number 2 and the number 3 second baseman in MLB. He has
that's incredible.
The number 1 second baseman is Ketel Marte. He has Ketel Marte.
And it's funny because Ketel Marte is still not a game changer. He's hit 20 home runs with 2 stolen bases. Like, that's fucking less than Jordan Beck. Like,
that's the second baseman.
Great, though.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So
second baseman,
I get it, but why roster 3 great second basemen? They're still worse than 1 outfielder.
Yeah,
he is number 6.
Yep, Xander Bogaerts number 6. Like number 3 is Bryce Terang. Like, that's where we're at right now.
And he has Hyeseong Kim, who's going to probably be a full-time player next year.
It is a dead position.
I mean, it's pretty much almost at catcher position at this point. And even catcher position still occasionally has some talent.
And I'd argue that besides Ketel Marte, I'd rather have Glaber. He's been great. But anyway.
Well, okay. So Max, Jose Altuve or not, it was still a relatively quiet FTN deadline. Not even a lot of minor moves. Ryan made 3 deadline day deals. He made the only 3 that were in the league. And we had some deals leading up to the deadline, but again, nothing massive. Nothing like JD sending 10 prospects for Max Scherzer levels of craziness.
That was my Preller move a couple years ago.
Max selling Zach Wheeler 2 years ago. So are you guys surprised to see that with 3 teams with 95+% odds to make the playoffs, they didn't make more moves?
I think we found ourselves in a situation where you get so flamed for making any sort of move that is outside the general consensus that it has almost paralyzed everyone to a degree. They're less willing to take a risk just because they're going to get destroyed for it if anyone views it as wrong. So I think we've almost self-paralyzed ourselves in a way. I mean, but I am disappointed that, especially Division 3, I mean, Jacob bought a load of garbage. He went out and gave people BAM and like, hey, go empty out your garbage can and dump it on my desk. Like, that's what Jacob did, and that's not what he needs to do to win a division.
Don't let Bean tell you otherwise.
Like, he just went out, he just paid people for a bunch of garbage. Like, congratulations. Like, I really don't get what the point of those moves were. Maybe he's so much smarter than I am. But, he had the opportunity, and so did Ryan, and so did Graydon, to go out and win this division, sell off the farm system, and go for it. And maybe not just for this year, but say, hey, you give yourself a 2 or 3 year window with these deals. But no one was really willing to do it.
I think that's the theme of the deadline was Division 3. All 3 teams made both win now and win later trades, which is so interesting that all 3 decided to walk the tightrope here. Kind of what I guess the league thought AJ Preller and the Padres were going to do, although the Padres ended up not selling Cease and Suarez like the league kind of thought.
Still don't understand that.
So it's just so. I think that was the theme of the deadline. Division 3 still, it's too muddled. The teams don't have a clear direction in what they want to do, so they kind of bought, they kind of sold, and at the end of the day, I don't think it really changed anything at all. I think all 3 teams they have the same playoff odds as they did before the deadline.
Yeah, it's literally not. It's no different.
I think it's because also the fact too, looking at it this way, we came into this year with, last year it was incredibly close in Division 3, not unlike last year. But we were all kind of sitting around the table and going, oh, Graydon, it's probably going to be Graydon or Jacob. Or at least a lot of talking heads were like, Graydon or Jacob? Probably Graydon.
Oh, yeah. We thought you were going to be the worst team in the league.
You thought I was going to be the worst team in the league again. Cool. Awesome. Turns out, no. Last year wasn't a fluke for anybody. It's just that's how competitive and that's how close the division is. The problem with
can't say that when you all are under 500.
Well, here's where we'll get you there, Bean. As I mentioned before, all 3 of us win ugly. We win 5-4-1. We win 6-4-0. I think what you'll find is the majority as to why we have, sub 500 records is that sure we'll win most of our matchups, and even some of the ones that we lose will be close. We'll never really win a huge matchup, and then there will be a time early on in the season, especially. You go back and look at mine, you go back and look at Jacob's, you go back and look at Graydon's. I'm willing to bet that there are a few ugly, ugly, ugly losses early in the season when, again, with the streaky players that our division holds, that typically doesn't lead to a lot. That it might lead to consistency later down the line once you finally built up your roster to be competitive. But for the first few weeks of the season, when you're still trying to find, okay, some of these players really are good and some of these players really need to be not on any roster, that's been the problem with our league, with our division for the most part.
Despite being all under 500, is Division 3 better this year than they were last year, JD?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think the records are misleading, and it doesn't really... At the end of the day, a win matters, and it just doesn't matter by
I'm going to interrupt the man who's leaving, so he doesn't get to finish his thought.
That is the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard.
Division 3 all pulled a Reds. That's what they did. They all somehow spent all this money and time and effort doing these trades and ended up worse or the same that when they started. No one made any discernible difference with this trade deadline. Listen, Ryan and Graydon just swapped fucking rosters.
Yeah,
they didn't make their teams better. They just swapped rosters.
They do love doing that. And Graydon loses that for this year short term because Churio's out for a month.
Oh, he loses that short term big time, but
I really don't get it. It's not, Graydon's got a few top 100s. I'm gonna go look at Jacobs. Jacobs got a ton of top 100s. Ryan's got a ton of top 100s. You couldn't have gone to Max. You couldn't have gone to Sean. You couldn't have gone to Jack, to Drew, to Vinny, and maybe got some of their better players for prospects. I firmly believe that you could have, and no one did it.
It's funny. I'll say this, more of a meta commentary, but this is the 4th time we've found ourselves going back to talking about Division 3.
It's
what a breath of fresh air.
It's the most.
It's a couple years ago we couldn't bring ourselves to talk about Division 3. Who the hell wanted to talk about the New York division?
Nick Kurtz is up to bat, Drew. Let's see what he does. It's 3-1. That's the count.
He's had a good game. Had a good game.
And it's the most fascinating division because of we know that two of them are going to survive. Myself, Jacob, and Graydon. Two of them are going to survive. And it's also interesting for the matter of, if again, I want to bring this up too. If you look at the schedule for JD, you look at who he's, faced. Let's go to JD real quick.
I mean, we know who JD's faced. It's the same 11 guys we've had in the league for years now.
Would you like to know his last two losses? He's won every matchup this year, bar 3. He lost his first matchup to Goober this year, and then his last two losses, the other two losses, 4-5-1 to Jacob, and then 3-6-1 to me. So Division 3.
Division 3 is making the championship game this year. I stand by that statement.
Yeah. Graydon really didn't give him any problems, though, so...
No. The invertebrates division is a mid-off.
The league...
Say that, I think...
league...
I don't know.
The league needs to start hating on Jacob more.
No, we all love Jacob.
No, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of him getting a pass.
I will say, I think we all give Jacob a pass for 2 or 3 years because he's new to the league. We can't be mean to him. We can't call him out and shit on him say we would Ryan or Graydon or Drew. But I think we're getting past that honeymoon period where we can say, Jacob, that was fucking dumb with you. You should have spent more at the trade deadline. You should have bought more players. And you should have just ran away with this. No, he didn't spend.
He bought Farmello, Melton, Florio, Murphy, Beltray, and Seager. Or as Ben would say, chunk out of the trash.
Estevan Florio.
If Jacob would like to take the title of the trash man, he has more than earned it this season.
We should revisit his deadline deals last year for just a moment because it's more garbage. Look at this. Look at it. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Jacob, Anthony Santander and David fucking Festa for George Klassen and Bam. Jacob was a seller last year.
He did the same thing this year. He bought garbage for Bam. I don't understand it. He's got the Mariners. He's got the Reds. He's got the problem of people want their teams to spend, so they go out and spend on garbage, and then they claim I don't know why we're bad. We spent money.